Good morning. The call to humility and the example of Jesus' humility converge. And in verse 12 and following, we get a picture of what that life is supposed to look like as it works out sanctification, as we live a life being more and more set apart to God in Christ. So I want to read verse 12 to you of Philippians chapter 2. Therefore, my beloved. So the identification of my beloved is those who are part of the church. This is not like he's bringing into question somehow their salvation here. Therefore, in light of what I've talked about humility, my beloved, as you have always obeyed, so now, not only as in my presence, but much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. He's not saying here, work for your salvation, but work out your salvation. You're saved. There are tenses to salvation in the Bible. You are saved, you're being saved, and you will be saved. And this idea is that I am called to live in concert with the gospel, not in the sense that I'm working alongside the gospel to obtain my salvation, but rather the gospel that has renovated my life looks a particular way. The gospel has redecorated the furniture of my heart. And so my job is to say yes to that. And it's to let that be, let that exist, and to live a life that puts that on full display. So there's this saying that goes like, perseverance is the test of reality. It just means that a Christian who is really a Christian will really end up looking like a Christian. You're not going to have to scratch your head and go, I don't know. I don't know if they were or if they weren't. They'll look like a Christian because it's the power of God at work in their life. This call here is a call for you and I to fulfill our human responsibility of living the Christian life in such a way that it reflects the gospel that we've received. My beloved, he says, therefore, in light of this humility, you've been obedient in my presence. Now keep going. It's an exhortation to keep going and keep living out that Christian life. Keep living out of the salvation that you've already received. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. You live before a God who is mighty, a Christ who he has just painted in verses 9 through 11 as exalted, who every knee will bow before, who every tongue will confess that this one that is the means through which the Father will be worshipped, that we are to live with fear and trembling, that we're to live respectfully, that we are to live soberly, that we're to live with the weight of the salvation that we've received, that we don't just say, well, I'm saved, and now you can kind of go live however you want. No, that would be an indication that you're probably not saved if you think you can do that. You didn't get a license for sin, you got freedom from sin. Work out your own salvation. Work out of it. Fear and trembling. That is your responsibility under God's lordship. Take that seriously today.